What's going on, guys, and welcome to F1 2021 and the start of my team career mode. In part 1 here today, we're going to be building the team, creating the team, and then in part 2, which hopefully will also be out today a little bit later on, we'll be going through the first race of the season. Most of the YouTubers kind of put the creating the team and the first race in the same video, but I don't really want to have, it's going to be a massively long video otherwise, so I'm going to have it as 2 separate ones, but I will be uploading both these on the same day, so give it a couple of hours after this one's uploaded, and hopefully the first race video will be uploaded too. So we've gone for a full 20 race season. I chose custom season instead of full season just because I wasn't sure, going full season, does that then stop you from being able to make less races later on? I don't really know, because a couple of seasons in we might not want to do full 20 or what will eventually be 23 race seasons when the new tracks get added later on. As for these settings here, I'm keeping all the kind of what is it called, the resources, I guess, all the different kind of resource point accumulation, money accumulation, stuff like that. I'm keeping that all as default for now. We might change that later on down the track, but for now that's what we're doing. You may have also seen that I changed the player faults to standard and high faults. So basically we can have terminal damage faults, like the engine blows up and we have to retire from the race. We have no choice about it. You know, it just happens randomly. Although I know that's going to massively frustrate me when it does happen, it's only fair really, because it happens to the AI. So the fact that they've added it into this game, I'm going to go for it, because I mean, I've had it in F1 2020 where I've been playing through the career mode. I've been like neck and neck with an AI for the championship, and then they DNF from a race because of a mechanical issue, and then I just after that one DNF, really, I've pretty much got the championship in the bag if we keep the way we were, because yeah, that's a bunch of points they just haven't scored because their car just gave up. So yeah, I do think that it is good. It's really good that players can now have those faults. As for difficulty, I've got it on 99 because that's about where I think I am at the moment. And assists as well, I kind of had some assists on because I'm not a pro racer. I do like to have a few assists on, especially at the moment, because I've only just started the game and I am having a little bit in the way of issues. So yeah, it's the handling model is a little bit different to the previous game. Now we go into our driver avatar. There are a few different faces to choose from. I decided to go for a rather young looking chap because I mean, I'm only 22 myself, so I like the look of this guy. He's a different character that I chose in F1 2020, so why not? Nationality, I'm going to go for British because I was born in Britain, in England. However, I do live in Australia now. I always go for Britain in these things, though I consider myself as being British. First and last name, so Chris, my first name, which is my real first name. I've put Shaw for my last name because I want to be able to have an audio name that actually says my name, and my last name isn't on this list, so Shaw's the closest I can really get. You may be wondering, you kind of went through that a little bit quickly there, you just knew what you were going to do. Well, that's because I actually did start this career mode before. I've already done round 1, and then I had some issues, some things didn't go the way I wanted, so I just restarted the career mode. So I somewhat already knew what I was doing coming into this, but I had unlocked a couple of other kind of suit designs and car liveries, so it is a little bit different. And I mean, this is the first time you're seeing it anyway, so it's actually good in a way that I got to do that one race beforehand before actually restarting and doing it again, because it got me used to the game a little bit more. I was definitely struggling quite a lot when I first got my hands on this game, that's for sure. So as for the helmets, we're going for a gold, black, and kind of silver color. There's no gold/yellow cars on the grid. Of course, last year we had Renault, but they are no longer yellow, they're no longer Renault, they are now Alpine, and they're more of a blue. So we don't have a yellow or gold car on the grid, so I thought I'd fill in that spot. In previous games, kind of went for like a lime green, because there wasn't any green cars on the grid. We now, of course, do have Aston Martin. could still go for a lime green car, like a lighter green though, because Aston Martin's quite a dark green. And I mean, you can really go for whatever colour you want, but I like to be a bit different, be able to stand out a bit from the other cars. My favourite colour is orange, but I don't really want to have an orange car because it'll look a bit too much like the McLaren, and even though I can make the livery look quite a lot different, if I want my team colour to be orange, you know, the little team colours that you get in the top left next to the driver names, they're gonna like look the same. So at least this way, I like the gold, and it makes my team stand out a little bit more from all the other cars. So onto the suit. This is actually a suit that I unlocked through the podium pass, because I did buy the podium pass. So I didn't use this suit in the first career mode that I tried. The gold doesn't look as good on the race suit as it does on the car when we eventually get to that. I think I do actually decide to change things up here. I decide to go for kind of the silver on the bottom, keep the black in the middle, but then go for have a look to see what the gold looks like on the top. And I think that gold just looks a lot better at the top there. So I decide to go with this for my current driver suit livery, I suppose you can call it. And I think it looks pretty good. I mean, we'll unlock some cooler looking suits for later seasons, but I think, you know, once I do choose a race suit and a race livery, we'll keep that for a whole season, and then we'll only change it when the new season comes. I might now and again do like a special one-off livery for some races, maybe like the British Grand Prix, because that's, I suppose, my home Grand Prix, maybe even the Australian Grand Prix, because that's my home Grand Prix from where I live. But, you know, we'll generally keep the same liveries for suits, helmets, cars and everything for a whole season. We're just kind of going through some other stuff here. We did the gloves. This is just a character pose. I'm not going to go... I don't really like the bonkers character poses. I just think they look a bit stupid when you kind of cycle through the grid. We're going to have a nice little heart emoji sort of sign for our victory emote though, and a pretty cool victory call. And now we've made our character. We're getting told now we've got to now sort the team out. So we've got to go into the team details. We've got to enter a team name. I've decided to go for TGL Motorsport. So this channel is called The Game Loop TGL. I thought TGL Motorsport fit pretty well.
Sponsors offer a larger sign-in bonus up front. Some offer more weekly income. The better we perform, the more our level will go up as the team gains more acclaim.
Now once again here, I did kind of know what sponsor I was going for, because it's the one that I picked in the previous one. I think it said that you've got to finish 8th or better in the Constructors to get the goal bonus, which I think is possible for sure. I mean, we don't know where our car sits on R&D at the moment, but generally when you start these games, your car's not right at the bottom. You're in that bottom pack, but you're not right at the bottom. We've also gone for a Honda power engine, because I didn't want to go crazy with the most expensive. So I decided to go for Honda, because it was kind of the second best and had pretty good durability. We now have the signing our teammate, and I was a little bit flustered here, because in the one I did before this, I chose Callum Ilott. When we got to this, I did everything else the same up to this point. I did that Honda engine, which I did last time. I did the same sponsor, but we had a completely different selection of drivers, so I didn't have Callum Ilott to do. I was kind of going between Guan Yu Zhou and Christian Lundgaard. They were the two best here. Ultimately, I was like, which one do I want? Zhou has some slightly better kind of racecraft, I think. And maybe a little bit more, no, I think it's just really racecraft, to be honest. They've both got a 67 rating. The thing that really did change this for me though was that Lundgaard had 2 more pace and a little bit more awareness. And he also had 80 focus, so I decided to go for Christian Lundgaard as my teammate for Season 1.
Let's create the livery we will be running this season. We can add more sponsors to the car as we sign them throughout the year. And don't worry, we can edit our look at any time from HQ.
Alright, now it's for the fun part, I'd say, the livery. Now, I'd unlocked a few different liveries. This one in particular here, I thought looked really cool, and I think I might have actually bought this one. in the store because it just looked so cool. So I was like, you know what, this is going to be a pretty nice, because I mean, those like standard common liveries, they look a bit crap. So I mean, for a first season, I guess that's what you do, but I decided to go for this one. One thing I am a little bit annoyed about though, I swear, because I've been watching like Arava and Tiamat Marduk, however you say his name. I've been watching them play F1 2021 Career, my team Career. They got a livery which I'm pretty sure they said they got for playing F1 2020. I've also played F1 2020. This is on PS4, same account that I use that I was playing F1 2020 on, but I don't have that livery. So is that a PC thing, or I don't know what that was, because that was actually a pretty cool livery. So I'm a little bit disappointed about that, but we've at least got this pretty cool livery. I would have been annoyed if I had to use one of the common ones, but we have got this one, which in some ways I think is actually better than that other livery, and it at least, you know, changes things up. I think most creators are using that livery. So yep, we now go on to the logo. Kind of just skimmed through this because I didn't want to stay on it for ages. And then we've got the team colours. Now our main colour is gold. I made the mistake of, when I did this the first time, I put the main colour as black because I thought that might look better with the you know, with all the engineers and all that with their uniforms, which it did. It did look better, but the problem was then my little colour in the top left was black, not gold. So this time I made gold the primary colour with black as a secondary colour, and then I'm pretty sure I did the grey as the third colour. And now I think we head on to a bit of an interview with Will Buxton. Now before I get started, there are a few little glitchy moments like you'll see there. My recording software is having a few little issues. I'm going to try and fix them, but there will be a few skippy moments, so I apologise for that. But anyway, let's get into this interview with Will Buxton.
Hello folks, and welcome to this, a very special edition of Paddock Pass. As you can see, there's no pit lane behind me, and as you can hear, no roar of engines, and that's because they've set me free from the F1 paddock to escape here to the countryside and to the headquarters of Formula One's newest team. Now, it's not every day we get to pull back the curtain and look behind the scenes at an F1 team. Rarer still that we get to talk not only to the team owner, but also the team's lead driver. But what makes this place extra special is that the owner and lead driver are one and the same person. Now, it's been an interesting 12 months, and we all know a number of the regulation changes which were due to come into effect this year have been delayed until next. Some, though, are still seeing the light of day, amongst them the all-important budget cap, which gives some of the smaller teams a little further down the order, potentially, the opportunity to compete with the bigger teams. Good for them, but great for us as viewers. But what does our new team owner think about these new rules? Do they see them as a challenge, a hurdle that needs to be overcome? Perhaps they see them as an opportunity to disrupt the status quo, a chance to come out swinging and to carve their name into Formula One history. Well, I had the opportunity to ask them these very questions just earlier today, and here's what they had to say. Well, first of all, for inviting us. Wonderful to see behind the scenes. As you might expect, I've got about 1 million questions, so let's jump straight in. It's been a long time since we last saw a team owner take their own car onto the track, and the sport's changed enormously in the intervening years. How are you going to handle the responsibilities of both managing and driving for a Formula One team?
So for this question, I don't want to be too rude with it, so I go for the left option.
Let's talk about your teammate. Now, it's clear they're excited to have signed with you, but tell me, what is it that you think they bring to the team?
Well, honestly, he wasn't the teammate that I was originally going to go for, but he actually has slightly better stats in a lot of ways to Callum Ilott, so I'm definitely going to go for one of the better options. He was definitely a good option for our team.
So you've obviously been putting a lot of work into the car. I know it's early days, but how do you expect it to feel out there?
Now, I want to go for a lot of aero things here because I know that drag is a big issue with the My Team car, so we're going to pretty much focus wholly on aero to hopefully make that drag not have as much drag. That's really the goal here.
Most of the other teams can boast years of experience in Formula One. Where do you see the opportunities to make those vital performance gains you need to put you within reach of the other cars?
Once again here, pretty sure we go for a drag option again. or at least the aero option.
Ultimately, your success this season is going to come down to whether you can take positions from the other drivers. What is it about your car that's going to give you that edge in those battles?
Once again, it's pretty much just aero. I might be focusing too much on aero here, but that's what I've seen a lot of other YouTubers do, so and they definitely recommend doing that.
And finally, with so many specialist departments working together here at your headquarters, and with such an important deadline coming up, who's getting that coveted Teacher's Gold Star? Which group do you feel the most proud of right now?
And this one's pretty important because it gives whichever department you choose a pretty big morale boost, and you also get some extra upgrades to start with that department.
Well, thank you so much for your time. It's been wonderful to get an insight from you and, of course, to see around the headquarters. Thank you for today. Really appreciate it. And thank you all at home for watching as well. We'll see you very soon.
Alright, so that is everything set up now. We are pretty much starting here. Usually this sort of stuff I will do at the start of a race weekend, I suppose, of a race video. But we're going to go through here. We're going to go all the way until the start of the race, about to go into the race weekend here, just because we might as well with this video. So we're going to do the driver training camp to start with our activities, because we want to get our teammate up there. I mean, scoring points is going to be difficult. As you can see here, we are currently sitting just above Alfa Romeo, so we are the eighth fastest team. So scoring points definitely possible with a little bit of luck and a good strategy and some issues, for the other teams. But generally, we're going to be, fighting for maybe some low end points at best. If we have really lucky races, we might get a little bit further in there. But generally, if the difficulty's right, it's going to be around the back end of the points. Looks like we're probably going to be racing kind of Williams. Williams are a little bit further back, so maybe not Williams. Alfa Romeo, here it says that Alfa Romeo, okay, this might just be specifically for this department. Maybe this is just for chassis. I think Alfa Romeo are ahead of us. But generally with R&D, we are ahead of Alfa Romeo. They look like a pretty big rival for us. And then you've got Alpine and AlphaTauri in front. I think they're actually a little bit closer than Alfa Romeo. Yeah, they are. So Alpine and every single team around me, it begins with A. Alpine and AlphaTauri are probably the two main teams we're going to be fighting with at the start of this season. Alfa Romeo may get in the mix as well. Everybody else is probably a little bit too far ahead to really compete with properly. So we'll have to see what happens here. Haas and Williams are quite a bit further down the order, so I don't think we're really going to have too many issues with those guys. I think they are a little bit further back. So it's really going to be possibly Alfa Romeo. Definitely a good fight, hopefully, with AlphaTauri and Alpine at the start of this season for possibly some low points. If not, we're going to be fighting them for, your P11s, P12s, P13s. On paper, being the 8th fastest team, pretty sure that puts us like kind of P14, 15 is about where our car sits. Yeah, it is time to get into the car reveal to have a good look at what our new first car looks like. So there she is, looking very, very nice. I do really like this livery and I love the colours. I think they go very well together. We're just going to advance time onto the Bahrain Grand Prix. And yeah, we won't start the race today. That'll be the next video, which hopefully will be coming out later today. But yeah, that is it. There we go. Bahrain is going to be our first race and we're all ready to go. But anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, please go ahead, like and subscribe. Look out for part 2 of this video where we'll be doing round 1 in Bahrain of this season, hopefully uploaded later on today. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.